George, it is your turn.
All right, I'm going to be pushing past Wounded Joe and start shouting out commands. Barack, take out that skull. Droop, get out of that ditch and finish off this spider. Joe, get a potion of healing in you. We don't need you going down. I'm going to deal with this bastard. I'm going to bring Talon down directly on the black spider with holy ferocity. I'll use my last spell slot and pump a divine smite into it. That's a 23 to hit for 11 slashing damage and an additional 5 from divine smite for a total of 16 damage.
You bring your blade down on the black spider, and it pierces through his mage armor as it makes contact with him, dealing an impressive amount of damage. The look of confidence and smugness on his face is now filled with terror and doubt, as this massive paladin clad in plate armor brought holy fury down onto him. Barack, it is now your turn.
I'm going to follow what George said, and bonus action Hex and Eldritch blast the skull. That's a 25 to hit for 9 force damage and 5 additional necrotic for a total of 14 damage.
You didn't even need the necrotic. The force damage once again sends the flame skull shattering into a million pieces. A familiar sight and reminder to sprinkle a little bit of holy water on the remains this time around, or come back to another surprise in the future. The last giant spider moves forward and attacks you, Barack. Oh man, it crits. Give me a con saving throw against the poison and one for your hex concentration as well.
For the poison, I rolled a 21, and for my concentration, I rolled a 5, so I definitely dropped my hex.
The spider overwhelms you as you take a total of 14 piercing damage and 4 poison damage, for a total of 18 damage. Your veins start to burn, feeling as though thick, hot acid is flowing through your veins as you struggle to remain conscious, but holding on barely so. Joe, it's your turn.
I know George said to chug a healing potion, but I can't stand by while Barack is taking that beating. I'm going to help out and attack the spider. I run up alongside Barack, give him a nod, and stab at the giant spider. That's a 14 to hit for 10 piercing damage and 11 from sneak attack for a total of 21 damage.
That's enough to slay the spider. Go ahead and tell me how you do it.
I start going through my bag to get a potion of healing and decide that no, I need to help my friend. Wounded badly, I charge in and drive my rapier through the spider, gutting it like the others, and let out a victory squaw.
Looking bewildered, the black spider gives George a look of terror as he goes to cast invisibility on himself. With a flare of arcane energy, your foe disappears in front of you. It's hard to tell what he is doing, but you can feel the presence near you move away, George. You may take an attack of opportunity with disadvantage, if you like.
I'll do just that. Damn it, that's a 9 to hit. I yell out, he's getting away. He's got to be heading north through the dry channel. Corner him.
With that droop, it is now your turn. The black spider seems to be trying to get away.
I'm not sure what I can do. I'm going to try and shoot where George said in the hopes of hitting him.
I'll say that anyone trying to attack the black spider while he's invisible makes their rolls with disadvantage. Since you all have an idea where they might be headed, there's a small chance you'll hit.
Okay, I'm going to shoot an arrow down towards the dried channel. That's a 13 to hit for 11 piercing damage.
No luck, your arrow just shoots wide and lands into the ground. The black spider might have gotten away.
We's can'ts lets him just gets away like that. That's as a horrible's ways to ends the campaigns.
Don, you're still unconscious, though you are stable. The bits of treasure seem to almost taunt you now at this point. The treasure's now moving around the grand hall, 1,000 bits of gold coins, gems, and magical items laughing at you as you struggle to collect any piece. The grand chamber begins to fall apart as the masoned walls come crumbling down. The floor finally gives way and you are falling through a void of emptiness.
Man, I love just getting told my nightmare for my turn. I'm having so much fun, guys. Maybe it would have been better if I didn't take a fucking fireball for you chuckle fucks.
George, as it becomes your turn, you are unsure where the black spider had gone off to. When you begin to lose hope, you, and everyone else, hears a loud crack coming from the center of the cavern. You all turn your head to see the dragon egg's top has been shattered. Cold vapor is pouring out from the cracked egg and spilling into the middle of the battlefield.
No, my baby is hurt. I'm going to rush over to the egg to check on it.
As you do, the egg shatters the rest of the way to reveal a small, 3-foot-tall dragon hatchling spreading its wings for the first time. It bears razor-sharp teeth, its eyes piercing red. The scales on its body are a pale white. The dragon hatchling growls viciously, looking down the dried channel before taking flight. It dives down the channel and exhales a large line of ice and frost and catches the black spider attempting their escape. They are immediately encapsulated in ice as the dragon perches itself proudly on its first victim, then looks towards Droop and says in Draconic, "I expect a reward, Father."
I take a few steps forward hesitantly towards my baby dragon and say in Draconic, "It's my baby's dragons, you hatched, you can speaks."
Of course I can. I am not a mere mortal, Father. I am a magnificent white dragon. I have been listening to your travels while safely stowed within the confines of my frozen home. It seems you are an abnormality for your race. I will not lie. I had feared for my life when I was plucked from the wagon from my first caretaker that I would have been consumed. But you have proven me wrong. I expect this kill I have brought to you will pay back for your care, and then some. I expect you to teach me the ways of the arcane and surrender my share of the gold you all have procured on your quest.
I don't speak Draconic, so I'm just going to go over to Don and put 5 points of lay on hands into him to get him back up on his feet. I'll brush off some of the ash off his robes and say, "You really took one for the team there, friend. It's nice to see that your magic item was able to stabilize you."
Don, you snap back into reality as holy magical healing energy enters your body. Your whole body aches and is tender to the flames you absorbed. You see George leaning over you as the magic subsides.
Yeah, well, someone has to carry this team. I sit up and look around and notice the dragon talking to Droop. Since I speak Draconic, I can understand their conversation and say, "Yeah, Droop, you better pay up, man. Pay the kid what he's due."
Isn't it strange that a hatchling is talking? I can't understand the thing either, but I can tell it's making complete sentences at least. Who's the cute little white dragon?
Father, tell the feathered one if they don't want their appendages to be frozen, that they will speak to me with respect and cower beneath me unless they wish to meet a brutal end.
I look a little scared and say, Joes, yous needs to say sorries to my babies. They are mads as yous for treating thems like a babies. Yous needs to shows respects and bows to thems, or theys will eat you.
Furthermore, you will address me by my name, Oldrum. You are only my father by the acts of caretaking while I was still taking form, and the only reason I have not slain all of you yet. I still have uses for you.
This is not a good idea.
I kind of like this thing. Oldrum, I bow to your power and excellence. Allow me to teach you the ways of the arcane and awaken the magic inside of you. We're going to make a lot of gold together.
Oldrum puffs out his tiny chest and says to Don, "I like this one. It has given me the proper respect that you all should. We will begin our magical training on the road." Oldrum hops down off of the shoulder of the now frozen solid body of Neznar. It wobbles slightly from being pushed off before it settles back in its place.
I look down at the tiny dragon and say, "Of course, Oldrum, you have nothing but potential in you. Let me be your guide into the world of magic."
Don's Oldrums is my baby. I needs to be the ones to teaches him.
Oldrum leaps and perches himself on Don's shoulder before looking down, giving a side eye to Droop and says, "Father, you have done your part. I can sense enough that you are not magically inclined enough to teach me what I need. This one, though, has magic coursing through its veins. My thanks is allowing you to continue to live your pathetic goblin life."
I go over to the frozen body of Neznar, point up to him and say, "Well, what do we do with him? I mean, he may just be suspended in ice like Han Solo and Carbonite. We could totally do Boba Fett shit and turn him into Jabba or something."
My immersion is ruined, thanks, Joe.
George, the ring on your finger begins to burn something fierce. The voice creeps back into your mind and says, "He doesn't deserve to live. One slash of your blade and you can end this evil forever. There's a chance they might escape prison and cause so much more pain and heartache than they already have. Unleash holy fury down onto them. Cast your judgment, George. Please give me a wisdom saving throw and text me the results."
All right, sent.
Anne replied, "Do what you will with that information."
I'm going to start to walk over to Neznar, the black spider, gripping onto Talon furiously. As if I'm trying to stop myself, with a yell, I raise my arm up and slash through the ice, shattering the drow into 1,000,000 tiny pieces that scatter all over the ground. All that remains of our big bad evil guy is nothing but their adamantine spider staff as it clatters to the ground. I pick up the staff, walk over to Barack and shove it into his arms before saying, "Let's go."
Are you all right, George?
I stop for a moment, pause, and say, "No, I'm not. Let's get going."
You all make your way out of the Wave Echo cave in silence after George finished off the black spider with one fell swoop of his blade, killing a helpless enemy when they could have easily been captured. What would you all like to do?
I'm going to be leading the party back towards Phandelver in silence, contemplating what I've done in my head as I grip my fist tightly in anger and regret for giving into the voice so easily.
So, I'm gonna say it. What the fuck just happened back there, George?
We did what we came to do, find the Forge of Spells and kill the Black Spider. We've accomplished our tasks. Now it's time for us to find Gundren and tell him what happened.
Yeah, but buddy, we could have literally picked him up and just taken him with us. You didn't have to kill him. I thought you were a paladin, man.
I am a paladin. Look, I don't need to explain myself to you, Rogue. You shouldn't be casting any judgment for someone in your line of work. I am the man of virtue and light in this party. If anyone should be a judge of character, it should be me. The rest of you are either gold hungry, power hungry, or looking to take shortcuts to get what you want. I do what is right and what is needed.
You need to calm down, George. We're not your enemies here. Whatever it is you're going through, we can help.
I just need a good night's sleep. Let's set up camp. We can finish our trek to Phandelver tomorrow morning. I really just need some time to clear my head. I'm sorry for what I've said. I need time to process what's happened.
It's all squaw, my guy. Take all the time you need.
You all begin to set up camp as twilight approaches. The sun sets in the sky and stars begin to peek through. The sky is a beautiful purple for just a little while as you set up your tents. A chill fills the air as the sun sets the rest of the way and night takes hold. As time passes, fog begins to roll into the camp as you all settle around the fire. Something's off about the camp tonight. It's almost too calm. Maybe it's what you all have been through to get here. All of the magic and carnage you've had to endure. Or perhaps it is the potential looming threat that sits upon George's finger that gives a sense of dread that sits in the pit of your stomachs as you try to prepare for your long rests.
I'm going to be sitting at the edge of camp, away from the fire, digging in the dirt with a stick, looking sad. Droop is feeling rejected by Oldrum and waiting to see if he is even mentioned by the child he looked after for so long as an egg.
Droop, give me a nature check with advantage since you're a ranger.
I rolled an 18.
Oldrum seems to be attached to Don since you all have left the cave. The magic that is within Don seems to draw Oldrum to him. With your knowledge of dragons, you know that particularly the non-metallic dragons are greedy and evil by their very nature. White dragons, such as Oldrum, are the most chaotic, evil kind of dragon you could find, although they are also the most animalistic. You'd also know that the fact that a white dragon hatchling speaking out of the egg is very odd indeed.
Yeah, me and Oldrum are going to become buddies. While we were traveling and setting up camp, I will show him all my cantrips and spells, showing him the somatic gestures that are needed along with the words of power used to evoke the magic into existence.
I want to go up to Oldrum and Don and say to Oldrum, Oldrums, I was wondering why Yous is so smart. Yous white dragons is supposed to be dumbs when they hatches.
Oldrum, sitting on Don's shoulder, pushes his nose up to the sky and says, "Yes, I am quite exemplary compared to my counterparts. The wizard you plucked my egg off of had spent much time with me. While I don't remember much of the wizard himself, I do remember the knowledge he impressioned onto my egg and in turn into me. He had a running theory of altering a white dragon mind, and to be born into the world with a hunger for knowledge instead of hunger for flesh would result in a being that would be perhaps less chaotic.
Whatever he did to you, it's made you who you are today. For that I'm grateful, O powerful Oldrum, the most intelligent and strongest of white dragons."
Oldrum gives a prideful grin and says, "Yes, I am. I will prove it by removing the competition. All of you have a role to play in my rise to power. I will see that you will be spared the destruction I have planned for when I grow into adulthood. You have all made a powerful ally, but that does not mean you can relax. I expect loyal servants, just like Dawn has been so far."
But you sounds like she wants to be a bad's dragons, Oldrums. But Yous is a goods baby's dragons, right?
I'm not what you call a bad dragon, Father. I am and will be the most powerful ruler the material plane will come to know.
Yep, see, Droop, nothing to worry about there.